Okay, this session is on one of the best multi-tools that I saw that does a tons of stuff for us. It's free for the most part. There is a paid version, but most of the things we're going to look at on Brisk are free. So, first of all, hopefully you got your laptop with you. And what is my hearing aid? I'm getting directions in my ear from my hearing aid. So first of all, we're going to have to all add the Brisk extension to our Google accounts. So get logged into your Google Chrome account, and we're going to add the extension. And if you have the extension, it's not on there. So we'll go to the extension. So first of all, if you have never added an extension before, this is going to be one of the first times you use it. But if you hit the puzzle piece right there, that's to look at all your extensions. If you hit the button with the pin, it will be permanently pinned up top, so you can turn it on and off really easily. And if you ever want to delete it, you just hit the 3 dots to get rid of an extension. There's 2 extensions everybody's going to add during this session today. It's important to know that the more extensions you have, the slower your Chrome browser will function. So if you've got tons of extensions added and you have them all on, you may see that you're getting a different experience than the person next to you. So the first extension I want you to add is called Extensify, and it looks like this yin and yang symbol right there. So if you just type up in the Google browser, Extensify, Google extension, you will see the one to add Extensify, and you'll see a button that says Add to Chrome, and it adds this little symbol up there. And the reason we're adding that one is it makes it really easy to turn on and off extensions and to remove and to pause them so that you'll know if something's bogging you down. So I'll go ahead and Google it and show you what I'm saying. So Extensify. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Extensity, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. So if you put Extensity, Google, Chrome, you should see that it in the web store. Mine says remove because I already have it. Yours should say add. You should be able to click on an add. I'm sorry, Extensity. So if you add this extension, I have not calibrated. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just Google search it. Sorry, I got to orient it because I'm not anywhere close. I should have done this before class. By the way, if you don't see your icon up here, you're not signed into Chrome. You need to make sure you're signed into Chrome to see that. And once you do, you get this icon up here that if you click on it, you can see that extension, but you can also see a quick ability to manage your other extensions and to turn them on. I didn't hit the right button. If I hit it up there, there we go. I can see all the ones I've got turned on, and if I want to turn it off, I can just right click, or I mean left click. So all these, if I click on them, it just goes away. That means they're down here at the bottom, and they're, why does my monitor keep doing this? Come on, you can do it. There we go. Did it again. Okay. So I guess the first, does everybody have this added? Extensity, Google, all you have to do is put it in Google Chrome, and now you've got this ability to turn on and off your extensions. And then if I want to turn it back on, I just go down here and click it, and it goes up here into my currently on extensions. So all of these things I have running right now. On and off really easy. And it lets you easily see which ones are on, and like, Grammarly's bothering me, I'm just going to turn that off for now. And then when I want to use Grammarly again, I can just go down here and turn it back on. It's a really, and you could see it went away and came back right up there on my pinned extensions. So it makes it really easy to get to those. So the next thing is we're going to add the one we're talking about today, which is Brisk. So if you just go to the Chrome Web Store, you can Google Chrome Web Store and do the one called Brisk. You need to have that added in order to play with some of the features that I'm going to show you today for Brisk. Yeah, it says, it's right there. It says Brisk Teaching AI Assistant for Teachers. What? I know, I need to put a new projector in here. The text is really, the thing is, then it's really dark. And I don't think it gets better because it's the projector. I mean, I need to replace his projector. What? No, I don't think that's, well, maybe he's messed with. Is it getting better? No. I don't think so either. Is it? No. Let me go the other way. See him again. Too far? Yeah, I think it's his projector, but I don't want to play with it now. Okay, so has everybody got, before I move on and start talking about features, has everybody got Brisk installed? Hello. Okay, and then you want to pin it up top so that you can see it to turn it on and off. Why do I have that down at the bottom? Yeah, is it okay to have all our data and stuff? I already pushed yes. Yeah. I have that pinned, right? Yeah, everybody can see my social right there. Okay. So then I pin it up top to the taskbar so that I can see it. And now I'll be able to use Brisk everywhere. And you can already see that's my Brisk icon right there. And that's what it'll look like when I go to anything that it can Brisk. And it'll be any Google Doc, any YouTube videos, any Google Slides, any website article. It'll do it on PDFs. We'll be able to use some of the Brisk tools on almost everything when we're doing it. So once we've got it installed, we can go and look at some of the things that we can do. So one of the things Brisk will let you do on websites is to create a whole bunch of different things. Some of them are limited to the paid version, and many of them are not. So we're going to look first at some of the things that Brisk is going to do that we're going to probably use all the time. But the idea is that it's an AI tool that simplifies a lot of our tasks. Many of these things Diffit will do for us too. Some of them it will not. And that's why I really like looking at what Brisk was going to be able to do for us. So we've already got it done. Let's go ahead and look at some of the things that Brisk will do for us. So if we go to a website with Brisk, Brisk will immediately tell us what reading level that website is so that we can decide if it's appropriate for our particular students. And if it isn't, we can go and tell Brisk to remake it to level the text. And basically what Brisk does is it opens up a Google Doc, it copies the document to a Google Doc in the reading level that we've specified that we want to use. So if we go and say 5th grade, it will go and do as good a job as it can. I will tell you on some web pages that I played with, it was awesome. And on some web pages I played with, it was horrible. And the ones that were horrible were the ones that had tons of tabs and navigation on the side. that you had to go to, it didn't do that well. But ones that you go to a website and it's just the website, it did that awesome. You can see that in this video, it copies photos, it relevels the text, and it moves it all over to Google Doc. That Google Doc, then, you could copy and paste into your Moodle class and just make it a Moodle page. Or you could just share the Google Doc the way it is as view only to your students, whatever works out best for you. It also translates. It doesn't just do English. If you're a Spanish teacher like Mr. Clark and you want to have this website they're going to and you want them to read it, maybe you put it in Spanish and you put it in 3rd grade so that they have a chance of being able to read it. Both those things it can do at the same time. So it shows you when you go to the website what the current reading level is of it. So it's a nice way to analyze a website that you may already be using to see if it's appropriate. Because obviously we're all college graduates and we go to a website and like, oh, that's easy. But maybe it isn't for our kids. If it analyzes it and says it's at a 11th grade reading level or a university is what it says if it's a collegiate level, might want to relevel that text or at least realize that's the case when we assign that to our students, that some students are going to have issues with reading this text. And all you do is say what level you want it to go to, and then you hit that button in order for it to do that. And this is an example of a fail. This is all I got from a huge web page because that page was all navigation on the left-hand side, and it couldn't figure it out. It didn't know where it was. So just to let you know that some sites are a horrible fail. When I had that happen, it was Britannica that was the site. If I highlighted the text that I wanted to change and did the same thing, it actually did a decent job of it and did the, oh, it's not going to start on me. Get out of my chair. Because, yeah, I really do. Because I am running back and forth. Yeah, so you can see it did a good job when I highlighted the text and let it know clearly what I wanted it to change. Most websites didn't make me do that, just that one, because it was so poorly organized on the side, did that. I can also use Brisk, and we're going to stop a little bit for you guys to play with it a little bit. I can also use Brisk to create resources. So if I hit the create button, it has a huge list of things that it can do for you, okay? So not all of these work on the free. You're going to hit some of them that you go to try to do, and it says, it's kind of a pop-up that you can use this for only $20 a month. But most of them it does. In fact, the only one that I didn't get to work, and I swear it worked before, was presentation. I did a presentation, hit that, it made a Google slide of a whole website that I used. Okay, I don't know why, it didn't work first block, first lesson today.
There was a YouTube video that it chose, I didn't put it in there, and then it made a 10-slide Google slide.
Okay, because it always worked for me before, and today it didn't. I don't know why it didn't.
Will it use YouTube videos that you have to purchase too?
No. Oh, I don't know.
Like it's not like I showed something on YouTube that's a purchase video.
I would think as long as you have access to it, that it's going to be able to see it, because it's doing it as you through Google Chrome. So I'm going to say I think so. But if you do quiz, it can export that as a Google form or as a Google Doc. So I used it to make quizzes as a Google Doc so I could just copy and paste the questions in a Moodle. You can make rubrics, syllabuses. You can have resources built from it. You can have a lesson plan. So if you go to a YouTube or a website that you're like, I really like that, it will go and make a lesson plan over that video that you want to cover in class. You can see there's a whole bunch of stuff. It even does science labs on social studies stuff, because I thought I'll get it. And it did a social science experiment on I was like, make a science lab on this YouTube video on the Civil War. And it came up with a social science thing. You had to pick which side of the Civil War you were on, and you were going to argue. Anyway, so it was a science lab, but I thought, I can't do that. But it did come up with some for social studies. I thought that was really interesting. So 23 different resources. All you have to do is click Brisk It. That's the Brisk It button. And it will do all those things for you. Some of these things definitely are already done on Diffit if you've been using Diffit. Some of them definitely are not. So I thought that part of it was really cool. When I went and moved everything over and made a lesson, it went and gave me the objectives, the backgrounds, the material, did everything I wanted it, and then it created that Google document, which is why it needed access to your Google account. And you can see it's got everything lined up with tabs on the side that you can go and build. If you go and say you want to make a quiz, you can give it more. It says by default, create a quiz about this web page, but you can be more definitive. I want to talk only about this on the quiz. And it will say, okay, I'm going to use this website and I'm going to use this too. So you can leave it just the way it is, but you can also add more text for the AI if you only want to talk about what happened with Paul Revere, which is what this one's about, because there's a lot more, because it's Paul Revere's ride and the Battle of Lexington and Concord. If you just want to talk about Paul Revere, then only make questions that refer to Paul Revere, it will. When it does, you can say the grade level, you can say what kind of questions, you can say how many questions you want it to do, and it will automatically generate that at the grade level that you currently teach or that you want to make the questions for. Maybe you're doing this and you're going to differentiate, so you do it once for 5th grade if you're Mr. Behringer, and then you come back to it and do it for 2nd grade so that his IEP 504 kids have a different level of question on that. Like I said, it does either a Google Doc or a Google Form. If you make it a Google Form, I literally tried this in class and did it and sent out the form while I was teaching because it happened so fast. I'm like, hey, everybody just got an email on a Google Form as feedback. That way, if you're doing something on the fly, obviously you don't have time to use the Google Doc and copy and paste those questions into Moodle. But if you're doing it ahead of time, I'm going to do this so I can reuse it, but that's something I can do right away. Let's see, what else? That's on when they do it. I was going to bring up that it lets you, and I highly recommend if you don't like the response that you give it a bad rating, because that's how it improves the AI model. You can also go and have it add questions, reduce questions, rewrite questions, extend the answers. All those buttons become available to you when you're doing a quiz. And like I said, it can throw it right into a Google Doc so that a Google Form so that I could send it out immediately if I was teaching that in class and just wanted to know, I need a formative assessment, see whether they got what I just taught. I'm not going to put this in my Moodle gradebook. I just want to know whether they understood it or not. I can do that really, really easily and quickly. And especially if I'm at a lower level grade, sometimes the Google quizzes are easier for the kids to get to. This is a different slide from a whole different course that Eric Kirst teaches on the Bionic Educator. I think some of the tools that Brisk lets us have are transformative on the things that we're able to do that 5 years ago, I did not have different leveled writing and reading and questions for any of my kids, because the amount of time it takes to do that, or used to take to do that, can be daunting for us when we're teaching a course to redo on my entire course for my IEP student who reads at a 3rd grade reading level. But now it's not. So I can redo all that stuff with Brisk teaching now, and it allows me to get all kinds of different questions and different outputs that I can go and look at. The activities stuff at Brisk is also really cool. Some of the things that you can have Brisk do for you, and it's down at the bottom and it says boost an activity. So you can already take any document, like let's say I redid it and I did this quiz based on a website or something, and I can go and hit boost the activity. I think I have a bigger picture of the boosted activities. I thought I did. And it's got a bunch of activities that you can use as bell ringers, as summations, as it's got an AI chatbot that you can add to your class on this particular subject that you can add. There's a bunch of different boosts on there, and I can't read my own screen. Hopefully, oh, I didn't share the link on that one. I need to share the bit.ly so you guys can see that better. So it's got ones to help engage the student, to assess the student, and to add more stuff. And I'm hoping I've got, okay. So this one down here, which is one of the engage, I'm at this Paul Revere website, and I said, you know, I want my students to have a character chat with Paul Revere on this website. So you hit a boost, and you pick character chat, and it gives you a link that then you can post on your site, put it on Moodle, email it to your student, however you want to get it to them, or you can have them go to a QR code, which is harder, and put in that code. But this link then takes the student to a chat about that subject, and you get a teacher board on the subject that lets you see who's in the chat and what they're saying. So you have control over the way the chat's going. The student then sees the website, and then he sees a character chat open up on the side, and basically they're talking with the character through a chat dialogue, like they're texting kind of with the character on the side about they can ask the character that they're chatting with, or the AI bot that they're chatting with, questions about the reading, and then it will answer the questions, and you'll be able to see the things they're asking as well. And I wish I had a link up here so you would be able to see this on your screen a little better. But on your side, you can see everybody as they engage in the class, and it has progress, how far they've gotten through the material talking with the AI chatbot. So you can watch if they're talking, and you can see how deep in the material they've gone through that chatbot. Let's see. I wish I had a better projector. Oh, this one is you can have. That's starting a debate with students on it. It's again a chatbot, but now they're debating with them about a topic that's presented in the material. I don't feel like this is. And you can do it with videos as well. Just it's the same thing. I want to stop and oh, this is the last real thing that I wanted to talk about writing. I know that one of the things that has been a concern that was brought up last year when we started talking about AI was students' ability to cheat. And the fact that as a student, I can just go into ChatGPT, ask it to write my paper, and then paste it in the assignment. If you have your students do writing assignments in Google Docs, and they share it to you as a editable version, one of the things you can do on Brisk is to monitor their writing. So it will go and let you see the speed at which they wrote it, how many copy and paste they did, and whether you can tell right away whether they wrote the paper or not.
Only if it's on Google Docs.
Only if it's on Google Docs. So if you're someone who's doing a lot of writing in class and you want to make sure that they're not cheating, you have to give them a copy link to a Google Doc that's shared with you. Did it again. Dagnabbit, it keeps switching back and forth. I'm thinking that maybe it's his video cable. Yeah. So you can see all the copies, and you can see how much, and that's what it looks like. You can literally play through their typing to see if they actually typed their paper. I on the last two essays that I had written, and I told them and I showed them this ahead of time, and no one cheated because they knew I would be able to see it. I said, I'm going to watch you typing your essay, and I showed them what it would look like. If they know that they will get caught, they're less likely to do it. So I literally showed them this to show them what I would be able to see, so they would know whether they did or not. This is a paper by Evan Zerwell that he did. I have to have edit access, and then all I have to do is hit the inspect writing button, and I was able to go up and see and play through it. He did have 8 pastes in there, but they're little ones because he went and checked his writing, which is fine. I said, I don't care if you go and type it. and put it in ChatGPT's and have it check it and then put it back, that's fine. But he took 38 minutes to type it. He had over 1,000 edits to it because he was typing and only had 8 pastes. I had no question in mind that Evan actually wrote his paper. And this is what it looked like when I inspected his thing. I literally could watch how Evan typed the paper. And you can stop at any time. You can see how he's, and it'll highlight anytime he does a paste while he's doing it. But there's no question on whether the kid typed it or not. Yeah. Yeah, you can increase or decrease the speed. It's like 60 times right now is what it's set up. And you can drag back and forth and see where he was at any given time. My point is, if the kids know that you can do this, they're far less likely to. You know, so that's one of the Brisk tools that I really, really liked. I want to stop right there to let people play with it for a few minutes. Go to your own content. You can go to your own Moodle page and try to use a couple of the tools before I continue on, because I don't want to just blabber the whole time. Does anybody have any questions so far? On with the rest of what I wanted to talk about, and some of this I've already mentioned. It can create instructional materials for you. I will tell you that its Google presentation that it did have all the text in it that I wanted. I got no image. This clip of it shows it getting images and pictures and stuff. I got none in the one I did. However, did you? Did yours? Yeah.
One problem I had with it, and I already is I didn't like the contrast between the text and the background.
Well, and you get to choose, if you didn't see, you get to choose different Google Slides. It didn't have. Yeah, I don't like that one either. It's dark on dark, and when you go to present dark on dark, you get. Yeah. Yeah. On what? Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, I wanted to thank everybody, but not anybody know who I was thanking. Shut up. But yeah, so I mean that is a really cool thing, especially if you're trying to do something. I mean, a lot of us have, obviously at this point, I've taught my class for 21 years, but it's changed every single year. And if I'm looking for something new, that's a great way to get a starting point. And I'm not saying that that's the finish point. I'm saying it's a starting point. And then you go and improve on it, because all these tools are to give us this much, not to get it all the way. I mean, but some of these tools are fantastic. I'm not on the right page again. Probably could just touch the screen and would have done the same thing, but I wanted to point this out. You do not have to find a website to start with. The thing that you start with can be a blank Google Doc. It just has to be anything. So you can go to an empty Google Doc and say you want resources on bleh, whatever you want there, and it will generate them all inside the Google Doc for you. So you don't have to start with stuff. You can just start with an idea, and it will create the doc. So I took a blank Google Doc, and I gave it the theme of what I wanted to do. That was the super user one. I went and clicked resource, and then I texted in I typed in what I wanted to create a resource for into the box there, and then I hit the little button there, and it generated. So I said, I want a guide explaining what computer RAM is, because I want to make, first of all, I've been teaching it too long, and things have changed, and occasionally what I think is the way to explain RAM is not right. It's changed the last 2 years. It's like when DDR5 came out, and we're talking about JDECs, and I'm like, the student asked me, he's like, what's a JDEC? And I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about. because that did not exist in DDR4. So sometimes I wanted to regenerate current materials because something may have changed in my class. So I went and put that in there, and I said, you know what? It wasn't detailed enough. And in the box, you can say more detail, less detail, extend this. You can tell it what you want it to add. So I said, you know, this was way too basic. There were specifications it missed that I definitely wanted to cover. So I said to rewrite it, and I typed in adding these specifications, and then it went and it. Oh, so I guess on this one I took it and I actually pasted the whole thing in ChatGPT and said, because it's current and I like sometimes the information, I said, hey, will you rewrite this? I didn't like the structure. So it rewrote it, and then I took it from ChatGPT and I pasted back in the Brisk document because I really, basically what happened, I'll explain what happened. So I took this and I said, add on, I want this other stuff. But Brisk didn't add it on. It didn't rewrite the beginning stuff. It just threw some stuff out of order at the bottom. And I was like, okay, that's stupid. I can't use this now because it went through and it talked about specifications. And I said, you forgot this. And then it was like, oh, and it put it down here. It didn't redo the doc. So I took the whole doc and I threw it in ChatGPT and I said, rewrite this so it makes sense all together. It redid all the lists, and then I posted it back over here. I remember what happened now. Because I didn't like the way it added those specifications way down here, not where it went in the other specification. Yes. Yeah. So I can take this, then that's what I did with that, and I pasted it back. Now I can Brisk it. So now I've made a summary of RAM for my class, a new one, that I can then use that to change the reading levels. I can use it to go and create a presentation, which I think is what I did next. I think I went and said, create a presentation on it. Do I have a copy? I don't have a copy of the presentation. And I went and did that. So the answer is yes. So you can have it create the content and then take that content and mess with it and then have it go in quizzes from it and a PowerPoint slide from it and all that stuff. Right? Because all Brisk needs is a website to work with. And the website can be one that you just did. Well, that's the whole point of Kurtz's thing on the Bionic Educator. This is empowering us to do way more than we could have ever done in a normal teaching day. And if you go back 20 years, for those of you that are old as me and Jonathan, we used to get a textbook. We used to get I'm just saying, when I first got here, I got a textbook. And the textbook had a disc with it, with PowerPoints and quizzes and everything. We don't get that anymore. I had my entire test bank when I first started with Moodle. I uploaded the whole test bank. I had a bajillion questions before I even started teaching. But we don't do that anymore. But we can get all the same stuff that we used to get, more updated, and at different reading levels by just using some of these tools like Brisk. Where are you going? He was here when I got here. That's why, I think, right? Jonathan, weren't you here? I know Steve was too. Jonathan's like, I'm not as old as you, old man. Okay, I'm really done going through everything. I wanted to point out that last piece right there. You just need to play with it a little bit. And the reason I put the share on the bottom is so that you would be able to look at these slides if you had any questions. It does a ton of stuff. And that's why, to me, of the tools that I learned when they went through Brisk, this was the one that, because I do tons of, almost everything I do is online. And I think most people do. And now I have make quizzes from YouTube videos, turn the YouTube videos into resources that I add as text, and then level that text for different reading levels in minutes. Yeah. Yeah. You know, he talked about barbecue the whole time. He said, and you can brisket. No, I miss barbecue. It's like every single time I say it, I'm like, okay. I think that's it. That's the end of this class. I hope I didn't go too fast, but you just need to play with it a little bit and try the different tools. It does so much stuff. It's close to Diffit. Diffit does a better job with some things. This one does a better job with others. But I still go to the other big three. I still go to ChatGPT and Gemini. I don't really Copilot that much anymore because Microsoft makes me mad that I have to log in through a Microsoft account. I won't do it from any other account. Huh?
That's why they want you to do it.
Yeah, I know. They're trying to make me. Okay. Yeah.
Self-exploration. Because, for example, I went to a math thing. Worse because I could go to 3 of these things, but I had like 7 of them. Thanks for the email, Dan. I know that you can ask about like the percenters recording themselves or putting it up and set together.
So I'm gonna say yes, and I probably already have everyone I've done, everyone I went to already. I went.
So Teresa had hers.